Okay, good evening and welcome to the special Motzei Shabbos edition. Motzach Chai. Israelis, they say Motzach, Motzei Shabbos, abbreviation. Um, there's in Israel they have this entertainment. I don't know if they're doing it this year about this Kol Haba, Haredi entertainment. They have this music of the voice competition, Musica Hasidit, to find the next Jewish musical talent. That's really people, I guess, the Haredi's entertainment, not just during the winter, but entire year. But now there's competition because you got me, Motzei Shabbos. I'm going to bring a lot of different stuff, Motzei Shabbos. We're just going to have Gemara, try to do some shorts also tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun, I think, in Bardak also. So it's Bardak against me, against Bardak, against Kolaba. You got it over here. You don't have to go anywhere further. This is where it's at. Let's get into it. If you're not into learning, I can understand that. Not everyone's into learning. But you don't have to be into learning to appreciate a shir by me. That's the greatest of my shir because I can throw in even a sentence, have a sentence entertaining. It makes the whole shir worth it just for entertainment purposes, entertainment value. Certainly, culture can. If you're into learning, you're going to enjoy this. Because just in terms of learning sense, my svaras are out of this world. They're amazing. Today I have a question. The question as follows: Mishnah Yudalit in Perek Beis talks about basically a repetition of Machlokas in Perek Beis Mishnah Yud, where there it's stated that if you have two isurim, let's say you have a spice, you put basil in your soup. Right? Maybe it's a good idea to put in your soup. Maybe like a broccoli soup with some basil would be good. So you're putting some broccoli. So the basil, you want to give a taste of basil on the broccoli. Broccoli maybe is just boring enough. You want to add a little basil to it. It might taste good. I don't know. Never tried it. So a little basil is not going to really implant the taste of basil in the soup. So you have to put a large amount. But let's say you only have half of your basil is Orlah and half of your basil is Truma or half of your basil is Klaya Karim. So in order to give it a taste, you need to put both in. So are they mitzaref or not? To make a shear, it has to be. We said tavlin, or make a shear, even if it's less than 1/200, it would aser because it gives it imparts a taste. The sinas tam in your kedera, in your pot, in your tafshil, and whatever you're cooking, the soup. So according to the Rabbanan, it's mitzaref because yes, they're different isurim, but they give a tam, they give a taste together. Rabbi Shimon says no, they're not mitzaref. They're two different shemos. Orlah and Klaya Karim, yes, together they gave a taste of basil, but they're two different things. You can't combine two different things. Chatzi shir, right? We mentioned in previous Iyun Mitzvah, Chatzi shir is not said by Yisra Gavra. By Yisra Gavra, you can't say Chatzi shir because Chatzi shir is only gzeira. It's a gzeira. It's a geder midoraisa that you shouldn't come to the full shir. By Yisra Gavra, we say stay away from it, right? So to stay away from half of the shir is right. Yisra Gavra, the thing itself is not really usher. It's just harchaka. That's the whole idea of Isra Gabra is stay away from it. Don't get too close to Isurim. So to say stay away from half a shear, so you shouldn't stay away from the full shear, it's like wouldn't say such a thing like that. So when it comes to Tavlin, Chum say it's not mitzvah. We pass on the Chumim. Sorry, the Chum say it is mitzvah, but it does combine. The Chum felt the need in Mishnah Yadalit to come and restate this when it comes to machmid something to help dough rise, right? You have a dough that needs a certain amount of sourdough to help it rise. You only have the proper amount of sourdough. It's a large dough you want to help rise. So you only have half sourdough. Half of your sourdough is Orlah. Half of your sourdough is Truma. So are they mitzvah? And together there is enough sourdough to make it rise. Does it aser this new bread that rose to Zarim also, to Israel? The Kohanim, right, it's never going to be aser because the Kohanim could eat Truma. So only have Chatzi Shir of the Orlah. But for Zarim, they can't eat Truma and they can't have Kulaya Karim or Orlah. So is that mitzaref for them? So according to the Chum, it is mitzaref. Shimon says it's not mitzaref. Why is Mishnah needed to be stated? It's similar to Tavlin. We know from previous Mishnahs, Tavlin and being machbet something, make it a davar chadash, a new thing, or essentially the same thing. So I'd like to say over here, the Rabbanan, the reason there's a repetition in this Mishnah, new Mishnah to say it's the Rabbanan, it's really essential for the Rabbanan we paskin like, is when it comes to tavla, when it comes to spices, so there you have basil and a little more basil. So it's when I take a little basil and I put more basil in, that's really just strengthening the same thing, right? It's just giving the little basil. If you took a small sample, if you took a little bit of soup and you put the basil in, it would impart taste. It's just because it's a large quantity of soup, so it doesn't impart taste. It does impart a little taste. You just can't taste it. The person can't taste it. So therefore, you put a little more basil. So therefore, it's mitzvah. If it makes sense, because it's called marbe b'shiurim. We talk about Hilchos Yantav. It's marbe b'shiurim. You had a chatzi shir, adding a little more of the shir. When it comes to being machmit something, sourdough. So the sourdough, when it makes something rise, it's not because of the taste that's why it asters, because you really don't taste the Orlah like the sourdough is doing a different function. It's not imparting taste, it's helping it rise, helping the bread rise. So I would think when I have half of my sourdough is truma and half is Orlah, so yes, together there's enough sourdough to make it rise, but there's no mixture, you can't combine, it's not combining two of the same things. You're not making something stronger, you're just taking two separate things, you're putting them together, and you're getting a dough that rises, but there's no connection between the Orlah and the Klai Akera. The Chiddush is, of the Rabbanan, is because it causes the Mitzari, because there's a Siba that it causes it to be Machmitz, to rise, so therefore the Isser is Mitzaref because of what he created in the thing. And maybe we can take that back to Tavlet also. The Tavlet is not Usr because, again, by food, there's no Isser Gavra, it's not an Isser Chefsa. It's not Usr because of the taste and Sinas Tam. By liquids, by beverage, there isn't a Sinas Tam. By food is known as Sinas Tam. It's the Tavan is Usring because not of the taste that you taste, what the spices, is because that it changed. It was Meshana, the Chaykiness. It changed the whole soup. It changed it to a soup that tasted just like broccoli soup and a broccoli basil soup. It's a new soup, a new shame. You changed something. You did a davar chadash. So based on this Mishnah, we can learn that's the svara of the Rabbanan. It's not because now you taste the basil. It's because there's enough basil to be called a new broccoli basil soup. It's a new thing. It's a new chefsa. It's chefsa gavar. It's a new thing. Same here also. The isser of the combination of Orlah and Truma in the sourdough is because it created a new loaf of bread. And that's what asr, that's what joins it together. That's what creates the isser. And that's mitzaref them. Hope you enjoyed tonight's share. See you in the next one.